Krishna Chaitanya Daya Kara almost flat. We left a good pair of cartels here about 6 weeks ago. Probably disappeared into the wilderness somewhere. Just a short note for those who don't know. This may be the only temple in the world where we chant this. And this morning, most mornings I hear it, is Jaya Govinda Madhava Govinda Madhava Shiva. I've never heard it anywhere else on the planet, but maybe it does take place somewhere else. It's the transcendental names of the worship. We don't say Shishi Govinda Madhava Radha, do we? What are their names? Radha. Is it Radha Govinda Madhava or Govinda Madhava Radha? It's right around there. It's Radha, isn't it? In Vrindavan we don't sing Jaya Shama Sundar Jaya Radhe, do we? No. I never heard it. Why do we do it here? Nowhere in the world do we chant Jaya Radha Govinda Madhava. It's wrong. It should be Radha Govinda Madhava. You don't chant Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. You chant Hare Krishna. Radha is first. And I've said this probably at least 100 times here, but still it doesn't seem to sink in. What is it we should do first? Radha Govinda. If you're going to do this, it's poetic. Somebody's created it poetically. Radha Govinda Madhava Shri Radhe. Okay, this sounds nice. It's a poetic compilation by some devotee at some point of time here in France. Just like in Paris we sing Jaya Nittai Sachi Sutta, Nittai Sachi Sutta, Sachi Sutta, another somebody's concocted compilation. It's nice, it sounds poetic. Think of what we're chanting, not just how it sounds, isn't it? Not conscious of what we're doing. We're not just here to have a nice sound vibration. We're here to approach Krishna for his pleasure. Anyway, it's the sound of Krishna's there. Better we do it a little bit more in order. I don't know what more I can say. I've said at least 50 to 100 times here. Okay, they don't let me hear it, someone else chant it and make me. So at least we residents, or the residents of the town, should bear that in mind. If I'm wrong, I don't mind. But I've never heard it anywhere else. So I don't see why we should be an exception to the norm. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're presumably reading from the Adi Lila, chapter 2. Is that correct? I'm not sure. I can't remember where we were reading last time, a long time ago. And is there a specific verse number? More or less a verse. Incredible. Oh, it says 25 on the page. More or less 108. Within 100. Is it 108? Is that the verse we should do? No. Doesn't matter. This is Adi Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter number 2. And we'll read from 25. You'll see. I don't think you have access to it. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna. Has anyone got this on their mobile or something? I could if you wanted. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 2, Text 25. You might access it, I don't know if you want to. Bhakti Yoge Bhakti Paya Janmara Darshan Surya Jena Savigraha Deke Devakam. I presume Kaviraj Goswami is writing, speaking this. Bhakta, the devotee, Paya obtains. Janhara, whose light. Surya, the sun god. Yena, like. Savigraha, with form. Dekhe, they see. Devagana, the of heaven. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Through their service, devotees see that personality of Godhead. Just as the denizens of heaven see the personality of the sun. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has his eternal form seen mental speculation. Can you hear and understand at the back? Yes. You can? You have Russian, French. You don't need translation?
No, it's okay.
Oh, service. Can one understand the transcendental form of the Lord? Is made here. The sun god eyes is seen from the higher planets by the demigods, whose eyes are suitable for seeing through the glaring sunshine that surrounds him in the hut. So I'm using a lithium torch, I think. Quite powerful, it's almost powerful as the one in there. And I looked at it, recognized anything from that. So what to speak of it, retina, I don't know what it is. You can't energy or something. All the gods in the higher planets, they can see that. Here, the quality for viewing the personal features of the Sun God. Experience, isn't it? Experience, isn't it? What do you mean a suitable body? I mean a space suit? What is this? It's not quite the same thing as we understand. What to speak of the sun, to enter into the sun is not possible with this body. Well, you can become fire if you want. And your body can turn into fire, but you will not be conscious. You may be conscious, but you won't be conscious in the same way you are now. Your body will be burned to shreds. You need a special body, even the moon planet. She is a subtle planet, quite subtle, not totally subtle, but ethereal planet. You have to have a body which is of that predominant that element to reside or even to experience what it looks like. Yesterday, Namacharya Prabhu came down to the hut with the bullocks, bullocks, with the bullock cart. And I was saying how patient they were. They just stood there for like 13 minutes without moving. So obedient. We go up to them and they're very affectionate. We spoke to them. And then they said, they only see black and white. They can't see color. Everything's black and white. That's what they say. I mean, I said, how do you know that? Well, then they said, I mean, the answer, I can't remember exactly what they said, but one of the answers was, well, that's what they say. That's the answer that most people give, isn't it? That's what they say. You ask something like, does God exist? No, because that's what they say he doesn't exist. The scientists, whatever, your parents or something. When I first asked my mother, I was quite young actually, I don't know what age, I said, Mother, does God exist, Mummy? And she said, no. Otherwise I'd be able to see him. So she said, if I could see him, then I could, but I don't see him, so obviously he doesn't exist. It's a common fallacy that we have also in many ways, maybe not on that level. On other levels, we accept our own perception, our own whatever. What can we see with this, I would say, with this petty brain? Takshu Krishna Namadina Bhavad in view with these material senses, what can we can't even see the variety on the moon planet, what to speak of. We can't see many things on this planet. We can't hear many things on this planet. What to speak of other planets which have a different atmosphere. What to speak of the spiritual atmosphere. Even the material atmosphere is beyond our capacity to understand or to visualize properly. We get a perverted vision of everything, measured according to our own perceptivity, limited as it is. Just like the bull, let's take the scientist as being an authority here, or whatever it is. They can only see black and white. They can't distinguish, maybe they distinguish between them in terms of shades of black and white, but they cannot see the variety of red and blue and green and yellow and purple, all the other colors. When we look around this room, it's like Diana Tai, he's got a beautiful green coat on. And, well, she's got some nice colors. Mahesh has got a wonderful orange chudder. Nice orange chudder. Mice, purple with white spots on the coat. Beautiful coat. You think, what? Is he drunk or what? Drugged. But maybe someone sees it like that. I describe it according to, you get used to describing what you see by certain terms. If you're in my body, I don't know, maybe it would be the same, but maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. And see, we only see through our lenses and senses. We label it. But anyway, we just can't see it all. Can't you see it? Sometimes people even say that in an ordinary terminology. You can't see it. It's clear. To them it's clear, to us it's not. Materially speaking. One has to have the particular... If you ever go to the optician, you've been to the optician? Yes. And they put all these different things in your eyes, right? Like this thing with these different lenses they put in, isn't it? The lens is different and it becomes a total blur or it becomes out of focus this way until they get the right focus. So you can see the letters. We're seeing what we're seeing. Perverted, different to what others are seeing. Everyone sees it different. Every planet has its own atmosphere, according to the influence of the arrangement of material nature. It is therefore necessary to have a particular type of bodily construction to reach a particular planet. He probably gives the example on this planet of the sea, the ocean. Can we live in the ocean? You can say, well, maybe in a submarine, but how long? Is that really what we want to do? Live in a submarine under the ocean? Only so long we can do that. Not our natural situation. You have to have a particular body to live in the ocean, isn't it? I don't know what the fish see. They may see things we don't see under there. I presume they do. They get around pretty well. And fishes, they can't live very easily on the land. There may be a few types that can for some time. But generally they live in the ocean, in the water. They have a suitable body. Birds, they may have ability to live on different surfaces, but basically their ability to live in the air is, we don't have it. You can live in the air if you go up to the top of the Eiffel Tower and jump off. But how long will you live in the air? Maybe 20 seconds and you'll be dead as you hit the ground. You can't fly. Can you fly? Can you fly? Flap your arms. Can we fly in the sky? We'd like to, wouldn't we? I'm sure many of us would love to fly in the sky, isn't it? Wouldn't it be nice to fly? What do you think? You go in an airplane or something like that. But wouldn't you like to fly? I used to dream of flying all the time when I was a kid. Flying through the air. You can do that. In the next lifetime you'll get a body of a bird. You can be born as a bird and you can fly nicely. For so long. So they have a different body for a different situation. What to speak of other planets. Even amongst humans, some living entities. I was talking to Goswami Prabhu last night about, he's living in this little hut again down the bottom there, taking his bath outside. Outside. He has no water in his hut. He has no bathroom, toilet in his hut. In fact, he has no cooking facilities, a little one. Nothing much. He goes outside in the morning. Now this morning was minus, I don't know what minus. How many degrees below? 3 or 4 below zero. Did you take bath outside this morning? Yes, he did. And we're complaining, oh my God, it's so cold. He goes outside, and of course he's a young man of 73 years old. He's in top health. What is the problem? We were discussing when we were young, how in our houses we had no kitchen, we had no bathroom, we had no inner toilets, we had no gardens. similar situation actually. But you never thought otherwise. This is normal. It's normal. Go to a little hut outside to go to pass water. The garden is just in a concrete little court. No bathroom. There was a sink. You had to do everything in the sink. Nowhere to wash it, no washing machines, by the way. Nothing like that, everything by hand. Scrubbing by hand. Drain. Hang it up outside it turns into a rock in this way. You go out and get your shirt and it's just a solid rock on the line. Ice, block of ice. We would cook on the fireplace. The house had no heating other than fire. One fire. And you have to cook it as like there's iron top to it. Yeah. You put the pots and cook them there. Inside around the oven, baking, different things. It's normal. You never thought, what is this? What is this? This is, I'm getting out of here. This is awful. You never think like that. You do it when you expect to live in this place. We never thought like that. No envy, nothing. We just accept that as normal. Okay, you get used to it. You accept that as normal. There's a matter of, you could say, I thought it says here, particular type of bodily construction. We do have a variable construction to a certain extent. We even struggle within that to readjust to a different situation. What if there is no electricity? What if there is no running water? What if there is no gas? What are we going to do? Die. You're going to die anyway. You'll probably die a bit quicker. What are you going to do? We take it for granted, don't we? So you turn the tap, water comes out. Well, then nothing comes out. Well, it happens here quite often. I mean, kind of preparing for the inevitable. What have you got there? What is that instrument you were playing there, Janananda Prabhu? Is that an instrument? What is it? Some kind of vino or something? There you go. It looks like an instrument.
Is it too loud?
Pardon?
Is it too loud?
Is it too loud?
No, you can play louder if you want. The sound. Where were we? Do you remember what was said before?
Taking
no
shower
water. You know, you turn it's like in a hut even, I press the switch, nothing happens. No electricity, no lights, nothing charges. Yeah, your mobile phone's really good, isn't it? What if there's no electricity? Ooh, cringing at the thought. The machine doesn't work, the washing machine doesn't work. Oh God. The heater doesn't work. Oh yeah, we're off the grid. But you're not really off the grid. Even if you've got a solar panel, like I've got, one day it's going to work. But what do you do then? You have to have electricity to charge it. Isn't it? You have to depend on the grid to charge your battery, which is fed off the solar panel. And everything's made by these artificial means anyway. There's no solar panel if there's no electricity. It's an artificial perception. Water, nothing works. The bank, what are you going to do? You have no gold? Do you? Maybe you do. But generally we don't. You have a bank card, no electricity. What's it going to do? Well, I've got my bank card. What's the use of that? There's no electricity. It's meaningless, it's useless, it's not even, it's actually a negativity, it's just an environmental nuisance. Because you can't eat it. It's a useless thing. We put all these artificial values on things. We're completely dependent. Totally dependent. Maybe you can be a little independent with food, but even there we're so dependent on tractors and machinery and tools which are made by all these artificial means. We're so out of line with nature. The use of Krishna service, fine. But maybe we are dependent upon it. Ultimately, you can't really depend upon it. These things do happen, by the way. Suddenly there's no electricity. Storm or something. Chaos. It is therefore the inhabitants of earth may be able to reach the moon, but the inhabitants of heaven can reach even the fiery sphere called the sun. What is impossible for man on earth is easy for the demigods in heaven because of their different bodies. So we may have the same, just like we were talking about the Goswami Prabhu. It's a subtle body. We also have our subtle body. The earth body is one thing. It may have, for whatever reason, its limitations. The subtle body is perhaps a little bit more flexible. And it's a matter of practice, Prabhupada says, isn't it? Much of it is practice, much of it is conditioning. You're born in that way. If you're born with only cold water, that's what you get used to. And you accept that as normal. If you're not, then cold water, at least in the winter, is very, very unpalatable. Intolerable. It may be related to the physical body, no doubt too, because of different physical bodies, but primarily it's a subtle fear. We're conditioned to a certain kind of reaction, contact with the senses, with the sense objects, and when it's not what we want it to be, our subtle body gets disturbed. If you're disturbed, that to a certain value. When we joined, you probably had the same experience here in France as we did in England. Those who joined in the early years of the movement here, that there was no question of hot water. There was no question of it, even in the middle of the winter. There was no such thing as a heater or hot water. We did not have such things in the temple. Cold water. 4 o'clock in the morning, we turned on. And it was a little like a small version of what we had down in the basement here in 1975, 76. I don't know when it's changed, but when I was here in 76, we had our introduction to taking baths in the source of the river Ganga. You pull a chain, and like this, isn't it? Like about this thick. Crash down of water, bang on your head. Freezing cold. Smack on your head. If you try to adjust yourself slightly so it wouldn't hit your head bang on. But basically, it was like that, wasn't it? You remember that? Was it like that when you came?
Those were in line behind, they flew away.
Pardon?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, we found out that some devils were actually, we had a curtain, you draw a curtain, and they weren't actually taking a bath, they were just going, ah! They were like stuck up against the side of the shower, and the water's crashing down on the floor. No! They come out and they're not even taking a shower, it's unbearable. That's all there was. There was no such thing as a mattress or a pillow. It didn't exist in the temple. If you were caught on a mat, trying to sleep on a pillow or a mattress, Prabhu, you're getting married. the answer to that one. Or if you thought about a hot shower, that means just get married, will you? Conditioning. Different conditioning. Conditioned differently. So, Namaskar Prabhu. We'll have a meeting. This has to be reintroduced in the temple. Save a lot of money. We don't need a wood anymore. You can sell the wood burner. Huh?
I understand that this is order from you, so.
We retract the order. When discussion can be, I didn't say that we have to, I said discussion. No. We're in a different era, you could say. Bear in mind, it's a matter of what we used to in a subtle body accepts and rejects various things because it's not compatible to our experience or our conditioning or whatever we want to call it. It's disturbed. And the whole world's like this, people are disturbed by those Hare Krishnas. Perhaps you've been in Châtelet-Léal sometime, I don't know, in Paris. Almost, I saw in December, almost every day the Hare Krishnas were there. Many people were really disturbed by them,
In front of Tiki Rose, especially.
Tiki Rose, in front of the restaurant called Tiki Rose. They were there every day pestering people like anything. And for people who are conditioned in a certain way, it's a disturbance. For others, it's not. Some people like the kirtan, some people don't. It depends on our conditioning. It's nothing to do with the kirtan. It depends on your conditioning, or our conditioning, how we receive it. Everything's like that. It's not what it is so much, but how we receive it. It's all about reception. Hearing, even when it comes to hearing. Two devotees can be sat in the room, and one hears nothing, and the other relishes every word. And one hears a different thing. They pick up a different thing. You find when you're giving a general class, this is not as general as some, in many classes there'll be many persons of different denominations, even different backgrounds, even in Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they're following different leaders, and they have a different idea of things. What to speak of the men-women phenomena, the generation phenomena, many other variations where you receive it according to your conditioning. That was a great class, Prabhu, and so now sing. And they're feeling really disturbed by it. You're receiving it differently. I read one class. Sannyasi was giving class, it was Vanaprastha subject, it was Yudhishthira. Leaving home with all Vanaprastha. He was like mechanistic, you could say. Very mixed class. Guests were there, elderly persons, different, all sorts of the main temples in Vrindavan temple. And it was about leaving home, Panchasordvam Vanam Vrajet. Famous statement, at the age of 50 you have to take Vanaprastha. That means retired life and leave home. Together with your wife, forget it, it's all over. Go to the forest. And he was pushing it like anything in the class. And one devotee put his hand up afterwards and said, Maharaj, I just got married. I'm 49 years old. I got married last year. What am I supposed to do? And he said, Panchasordvam Vanam Vrajet. You should have thought about that before you got married. Any other questions? Everyone was looking at each other like, wow. What to speak of the guests, I don't know if they thought. It's shastrically true in one sense, you also got to be a little realistic with the situation you're in. Prabhupada was also very, you could say, realistic according to the situation. We have our goal. There are Shastric directions which we should, as close as possible, we should try to apply in our lives to reach the goal, not to destroy our purpose. That which is favorable. There's a very famous conversation, I don't know if you've read it or not, with Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there. I don't know who else was there. Here. And Prabhupada was reminiscing, talking about his early life in Calcutta. There was one local man, he was about 80 years old. And Prabhupada said, he was such an inspiration to me in my spiritual life. He was such a nice devotee, Prabhupada. And he's about 80, he said. And then he got married, around about 80 years old. And he came to him, phew, Prabhupada, isn't that a bit old? I think it was Tamal who said. Prabhupada said, yes, but he was such a nice devotee. And he said, and Prabhupada said, Bhagavatam is full of such incidences. Of elderly persons getting married. No, not recommending this, by the way. It's not the end of the world, you know. You're not like demonized or something. It's an exception, but these things are there. You know, embrace, you have to see them. A little bit flexible sometimes, too. Obviously, he needed to do it. Similarly, to see the Supreme Lord, one must have the spiritual eyes of devotional service. Is a very famous verse spoken by Lord Brahma. What is that? Premanjana Santa Sadesha Govinda. No, this I know a quarter of the verse. I know 25% of the verse. In fact, I know 25% of the Brahma Samhita. Almost. And the verses don't contain Govinda, might be pushed, but what does it mean? What does it mean?
I worship Govinda.
You worship the river?
Govinda.
Govinda. Worship Govinda. Where's Govinda, by the way? He's not used here. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord. Is that right? That's one line. What's the exact translation? I can't remember the exact translation. But get the gist of it. It's only seen by those whose eyes are tinged by the self of love. The qualification is love. It's not a matter of, you know, adjustment or kind of analysis or something like that. It's actually love. Krishna reveals himself. He's not seen just by show him. If you got it. Who said that? I did. Who else? Huh? A famous personality. Many people said it.
Hiranyakashipu?
Hiranyakashipu said it, didn't he, to Prahlad? Hey, Prahlad, if your God exists, then where is he? Show me. Is he in this pillar? Where is he? He can't see. No eyes to see. There's no love. In the Bhagavad Gita, on several occasions, Krishna makes this quite clear, doesn't he? Who remembers a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, how he can be seen? So he can be understood. Same thing, understanding, seeing, same thing. There's a very famous verse in the 11th chapter. You bring the Bhagavad Gita, someone will come to it. Bhagavad Gita, English version if possible. I can't remember the whole verse either. But let's read it. There we go. Oh, how much? Combien, monsieur?
10 euros.
I still
10
counting.
euros.
I still counting in
Non, non,
my
Jean, non, 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 Jean.
Excuse me, sir. Do you speak English?
Parlez-vous anglais? What is the 11th chapter called?
Universal form.
Universal form. Now that is an exceptional subject. Even for the materialists, they kind of like relate to the universal form, but they can't really see it. This cosmic perception is something they can chew into a little bit. And many people think this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, the universal form. Maybe. But this is the absolute truth in full. The universal form. They see nothing beyond it. Or if they do, they see the impersonal Brahman. The impersonalists also may look like that a little bit, but they do see more than just the universal form. But even to see the universal form is not an easy thing, is it? Not the universal form described here, that's for sure. Krishna gives a little bit of a help here. If you read in the 10th chapter, particularly in the 10th chapter, Krishna's giving us help, a lot of help, how to see it, where he describes how he is, maybe not, you can't see his personal form, but how you can feel his presence or experience his presence in all the phenomena of this world. This is how we begin to see it. When we look at the trees, what do you think of? The hairs on the body of the Lord. When you look at the mountains, what do you think? Maybe you don't, but what does Krishna suggest?
The bones.
The bones. Stacks of bones. Whether you have bones or not, but we see it like that. So many things. He describes how we can try to remember him behind everything. We may not be able to see it in it, but we can remember him behind it. His presence in everything. This is a stage, an important stage, which we may not even be applying ourselves. But it is an important stage of becoming God conscious. So now we're seeing, you could say, the manifestation of the Lord within everything in the 11th chapter, but it's not very attractive in one sense. It's quite dramatic, to say the least, and quite, overwhelming. Arjuna is overwhelmed. He's stunned. But it's not a very sweet one. But even to see that is extremely rare. Hardly anyone. What to speak of the personality, just like the sun, you cannot see the sun really. You can see the sun rays. You can kind of see the sun when it's covered by the mist or the cloud a little bit. You can't, normally in a full day, you can't look at the sun directly. Or to speak of the person within it. In pure cosmos, you can look at what you can see, only a perverted or reduced vision of the cosmos. You can see, but not the full. What to speak of the personality behind it. We can't even see the personality behind this body. We only see the body. We don't see the person. People have very little concept of being different to their body. Very little. And even if they say they are, it doesn't really have any kind of substantial meaning in itself. It's just a philosophy that they believe in. What to speak then? Let's read a few verses here. My dear Arjuna, you have been perturbed, Krishna says, and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine, universal form. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. This material world is a bit of a disturbance, isn't it? With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. That's what you want to see, the material form of Sukhajaya. Arjuna wanted to see the Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form, and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fears of Arjuna. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, "O Janananda, seeing his human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature." Those who've got children, well, see, I don't think you do this with your child, but sometimes at a certain stage of your child's growth, the parents will also put on a fearful mood. So he gets back home again. It's scared to see that particular food. Or you put a mask on or something. Many times in dramas you see the children get scared, don't they? I remember one time we were in Kedarnath, in Braj, in Vrindavan, on Parikrama, in Kedarnath. In an area of Braj which is called Kedarnath. It's a hilly region actually, way out on the western side of Braj. We were doing dramas every day, spontaneous songs. This was almost spontaneous. And so what took place there in Kedarnath was the pastime of Vrikasura. Vrikasura. You heard of Vrikasura? What was Vrikasura famous for? Yeah, he's famous for touching his head. But what led up to his touching his head was quite extraordinary. What did he do? What did he do? He was worshipping Lord Shiva, and he wanted a boon. What did he want? Huh? He wanted a boon. Whoever head he would touch, the head would burst into pieces. A very nice boon. Bless you. Not a very nice thing to ask. He was determined to fulfill his desire, strange desire to say the least. But he was determined. And he was performing yajnas, sacrifices, and he was taking a knife and slicing off the flesh of his body. So we did this drama, can you imagine? It was late night, so that the lights were not very bright. You couldn't see from the little distance what was there. I put all these, dough, all this dough, you couldn't see it. Detached my arms with my legs and things. And underneath was all this very liquid tomato sauce, which I burst open. So I was taking a knife like this. And the flesh would come off and blah, this red stuff would come out from underneath it. And I'd take the flesh and throw it at the audience. And all the kids were screaming or running. 500 people there or something like that. It was quite realistic. I didn't do the final one, but we actually had the final one is he was just about to put his body in the fire. His whole body. In flesh, it was stick from a distance, like some close up. Very memorable drama. Raja Dharma was there. We'll carry on. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, this is the verse quoted by Prabhupada, the next one. The Supreme Personality of God said, my dear Arjuna, the form of mind you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. That's the two answers. It looks easy, you know? We look at the data every day. What's the difficulty? But are we seeing? What are we seeing? Are we seeing? Are we the seer or is the Lord the seer? Who's the seer? The Lord is ultimately the seer. He's the Drishti. We are that which is seen. We think we can see it with our present mind what we can see. He's seeing us. He's seeing our heart. He's seeing our consciousness. This is the development has to be there of love. What does love mean? Yes. Pardon?
Pleasing the person.
Pleasing the person. A very simple way of saying it. Oftentimes people say, I love you. Even with God, others, maybe this morning or last night, I can't remember hearing Prabhupada say how in most religions look to the Lord as a father. But the father is the one who's supposed to supply, facilitate the desires of the son or the daughter. There's a kind of a love between the two. There's, from the father's point of view, it may be one thing or the mother. But from the child's point of view, it's almost conditional. He expects. Hopefully it goes a bit beyond that, but to a large degree it's an expected relationship. That I love my father because of blah blah blah. He bought me a nice computer for Christmas. I love my mother, she cooked nicely. Hopefully it goes a bit beyond that, but to a large extent these conditional factors are involved. In real love, there's no condition. It's unalloyed, unmotivated, uninterrupted. That's what we read every day in the Sikshastakam. That's the meaning. Krishna is looking for us to develop that bond. But in most cases, we love people because we get pleasure ourselves. So of course, love. Because we feel our own pleasure is the primary factor in deciding on how I love a person or I don't love a person, how much pleasure I feel. It's all about how I feel. Even in our devotional lives, that element is there to some extent at least. How I feel. I don't like it. Whether Krishna likes it or not is not very important. I don't like it. We don't always put Krishna first. Oh, gradually, the process of devotional service is all about putting Krishna first. And when we put Krishna first, then Krishna wants to reveal himself. He likes to reveal himself as such a devotee who always puts him first. To actually see that form of Krishna, in Manjanachu Bhakti Vilochana, when the eyes are reaching to real love. But no matter what it is, if that pleases Krishna, he sacrificed everything for the pleasure of Krishna. Didn't need to come to the Western world, didn't need to undergo tribulations of trying to form a movement. But for the pleasure of Krishna, he did this. Or he was the instrument allowing it to be done. I'll read the next verse. The form you are now seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood. Transcendental, pure eyes tinged with self. Cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. You may see some perversion or some limited aspect, a pretty form or beautiful form or whatever, a stone, depending on how you see. But see them as I am. We're not that level yet. And we may think, I wonder what he said to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, when I look at the deities, I see them dancing on the altar. Prabhupada said, don't worry, keep chanting Hare Krishna, it will go away. I thought I was advanced. Never mind. Keep chanting. Of course, the pure devotees of the Lord may reciprocate like that, but we're not on that level. And then the famous person. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vido arjuna jatum drashtum chakapena praveshtum cha param tapa. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen for me. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. There's one more verse, which Prabhupada says is the essence of it. My dear Arjuna, the last verse of the 11th chapter. It's interesting, 11th chapter, the conclusion is pure, unalloyed devotion. There it talks a lot about it. Almost exclusively about the cosmic manifestation, the universal form and so on. The conclusion is wholly and solely pure, unalloyed devotion. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. You can read the prayer book yourself if you want to read it. It's an amazing prayer book. Open by Srila Prabhupada, written by Prabhupada. Text 54 and 55 of Dear Arun. We just finished the last few lines of the prayer book. The personality of Godhead is unapproachable by those who are habituated to speculation about the absolute truth in terms of experimental scientific thought, without reference to the transcendental vibration. The ascending approach to the absolute truth ends in the realization of impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma, but not the supreme transcendental. Hare Krishna, we've gone over time. I'm still conditioned to the idea that class finishes at 9. But I just realized it meant to finish at 8:45. You changed the schedule here. Is that right? Correct? I don't know if the boss is here. One of the bosses. Namacharyu's changed the schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, they changed.
Oh, they changed it. No problems. It's nice that they changed it. I don't have a problem. You have to remind me, however. I've forgotten the schedule was changed. That's one of my favorites, because let's go back to Vedanta Man. Early days. Not the first year, this is probably 75, 73. We didn't have that Vyasa-san. This Vyasa-san came in 73, maybe late 73 or 74. When Prabhupada first came to Bhaktivedanta Man in 73, they made this Vyasa-san, which was, you've seen pictures of it maybe? And when Prabhupada came in, he said, "Oh, Lord Shiva is coming?" I said, "Oh, Lord Shiva is coming?" looked like it was something from Kailash or something. I said, oh, Shiva's coming? That was just at one time in 73 when he came. He was there for 2 or 3 months. He also sang different. Srila Prabhupada teaches.
Okay.
Or Prem. Now we're going to see Krishna in transcendental prasada. And later on through transcendental service and then through transcendental street sankirtan. I guess we're going out on tours today, is that the idea?
Yeah.
We're going on a tour to tour.